Hey friends, hope you're doing fine. Today I'd like to show you a trick on how to apply the same color coding across all your visuals for a specific dimension. Let me show you what I mean first. So let's say you create a report and I just create a few basic visuals. Let's say I'm using here a donut chart and I would like to see from my orders table the different kinds of ship modes. And for those ship modes, I'd like to see here, for instance, let's say if I go in my measures table, I'd like to see a measure, and I'm going with any of the measures I have, let's say the profit margin. Then I would see the profit margin here for my different kinds of ship modes, right? So this, for instance. And let's say I want to have another chart. And let's say this chart will be here a bar chart. Let me select this one here. And let's say for this bar chart, I also like to see from my orders table the same dimension, so the ship mode. And for this dimension, so for the ship mode, I'd like to see again one of the measures. And let's say I'm going with here the total cost. I have this. So let's select this one. Okay, now I have my total cost. Even though total cost would be probably not that interesting, but let's say, the cost for the products regarding the ship modes. That's fine. Now, what I mean here, or what the problem is here, is the following. We have now basically two charts in here, which have colors, which is appearing coming from the theme itself. So you see you have the ship modes here, and they simply put the first color, which is stated in the theme, which is in this case is blue. Now, on the other hand, we have visuals where right now the ship modes are a color, and we see that the ship modes have different colors, right? So only DHL has here the same blue as this one, which is kind of confusing to the end consumer of your report, because he or she will now somehow attach those bars here to this specific part, even though this is just 1/3, right? Because it's only a part, which is DHL, concerning the whole ship modes. So what can we do to get the same color in here and here for each of the ship modes? And the way this works is that we have the option to create a helper, in this case table, which specifies the colors for the dimension you want to analyze. In this case, I'm using the ship mode as an example. But the same way can be applied to any of your dimensions. So the way it works is the following. At first, we need to create the table concerned with the colors. And this table can be created in Excel, for instance, or any other kind of tool, or in Power BI directly. So in this case, I will do it here directly. So we'll go to enter data here, and then I create my table here. Now this table only needs to have two columns. The first column here is the ship mode, so I simply call it mode. And then I need to specify all the values. So DHL, then I'm using UPS, and finally DHL Express. And please be careful, because the spelling for your dimension here has to be the same as here, because we want to link those two tables afterwards. So next, we specify the color in here. So I want to say color. And now we could type in a color, like for instance red, that would work, or yellow, green, and so on. Or we could also use hex codes for that. So as an example, I can go to one of the, in this case, pages like this one, image color picker. I can choose here this color palette, and then I can say, okay, I want to have this hex code. So I copy the hex code here, and I go back to my Power BI report and just paste it here for DHL Express, like that. And then I do the same for the next one here and say for this one, I'd like to have maybe this one here, right? I copy it, and then I go in here, and I choose the next one and paste it inside, Control V. And finally, I need the last one for DHL Express. I'll go again to this side, and then I choose maybe this color here, right? And I copy it, and then I go back to my report, and I paste it inside. Okay, and then finally I name this. This is my color table, or color TBL, okay? Color TBL, like that. And then I can actually load this data, and then I just need to wait just a few seconds until the data gets loaded into the model, and then a new table gets applied here. So the table is there, so let's just wait, see it. So make this smaller and this smaller, and then there should be a color table somewhere, which is actually there, right? This one here. Now the table is available, and I personally like to link it to my data model, even though it probably is not necessary because of the function we're going to use in a second, but still I'd like to have the connection So I go to my model view here, and then I take a look at where is my, there it is, the color table. And this is quite long. There are a lot of disconnected tables in here. But for now, we only need this color table in here. Let me drag it a little bit in here and drag it further. And let's actually link this to the orders table. So let's zoom in again. And I want to use the color, and I have my mode. And also in the orders table here, I have a ship mode. So I can scroll down, or where is it? Ship mode, there it is. So I can connect my mode with my ship mode, like that. Okay, I have the relationship, that's fine. So I'll go back to my report view, and now I need to create a measure. So we will go to the measures table, right click here, and create new measure. You could also do it up there from the ribbon bar if you want, but let me do it there. Now, just a second, and there's my measure. Let me zoom in, like that. Oh, not here, but in the measure, here, up there. Okay, and now let's actually specify the color. So this is our color measure. And please feel free to come up with a better name if you want. Go to new line. And then I say, for this one, I want to look up the value. So look up value function. Then I need to specify, okay, which value do we want to see? Well, I would like to have the color, right? So from my colors table, the color, that's what I want. And then what is the column I want to actually search? Well, the column I want to search in is actually the color mode. And next, what is the search value? Now the search value is coming from the orders table, and there it's actually the ship mode, right? But if I try to enter ship mode here directly, I won't find it. And that's why I need to use the selected value function for that, because this function allows me to pick basically the ship mode. So if I search for ship mode, there it is. Now I can choose it. I can close parenthesis and also close the second one, and we are good to go. So that's the measure. So we look up the color in the other. So the color, we want to return the color. We look it up in the color mode, the ship mode itself, and we search for the selected value of the orders table ship mode. So let me just click on this one here or press enter to execute. Then the measure is now available, the color measure, and now we can use it. Because each bar in here, or each slice in here from the donut chart is actually part or a selected value of the ship mode. So that's why we can actually now use the color measure in here and here. So let me select it here first. Let's go to the format visual options, and let's tick on the bars. And there we can either specify a color. We can also do it manually here to show all of them. Or we could go to the FX, and that's what we want, and specify here not a gradient, but instead a field value. And now we search for our color. So we choose the inside here the color measure. So select color measure, and then let's click OK. And we see that now we have exactly the colors we specified. Now the only question you might have, well, okay, now we have the color in here, but what about this visual? Well, of course, we need to copy paste it, right? So we go in here, we just choose the format painter here, click on it, and then select the other visual. And now we have exactly the same colors, right? So you can see UPS here has the same color, and the same is true for the other ones. And this is now much better for the end consumer, considering the experience, because now the colors are actually linked, right? And we know exactly, okay, this here belongs to that one here, right? And that's it. That's basically how that works. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Hopefully you can try this out for yourself and implement in your reports. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. And then take care and see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.